I first heard about the story on the news at the end of 2012, and it says there was an SOS letter that was discovered by a woman in Oregon in a package of Halloween decoration. And the message came from someone detained in Masanjia labor camp. Now, I knew Masanjia was one of the most notorious labor camps in China. I was very curious to find out who was the writer of this note. What was his story? And how come he was able to find pen and paper and send this note? So I launched a search through my personal underground network in China, consisting of journalists and dissidents. 3 years later, one day somebody told me, I think I found your guy. We finally connected over Skype. His name was Sun Yi. It turned out that he was behind the letter, and there was an amazing story that how he ended up in the labor camp and how he was able to write this note and what happened to him afterwards. But we had only two problems. One, because of my previous films, I was no longer welcomed to go back to China. And on the other hand, Sun Yi did not know how to use a camera. So we decided to work together, and I developed a little online filmmaking course for him. He learned quickly. We planned our days together in how to grab shots, how to collect audio. He would compress the footage, encrypt it, and send to me online. And then we work out the plan ahead. But at the end of the day, I needed to get the raw footage. Obviously, we couldn't use FedEx or China Post. So what happened was he would copy them into hard drives. The drives would be passed down to a friend, and then to another friend, and eventually to me in Canada. And sometimes it took up to 4 months for me to receive the drive. The drives were encrypted in a way that I had only one chance to input the correct password. And only when I had the drives in my hand, Sun Yi would tell me the password. So we had all 4 drives, and fortunately we were able to unlock all of them successfully. Many critics and viewers have commented after watching Letter from Masanjia that truth is stranger than fiction. Imagine receiving a message in a bottle, except the message came from a notorious labor camp. And the message traveled over 6,000 miles and landed in your hand. The message pleaded for help because the writer said many people like him are suffering in the labor camp, and many more are suffering in China because of their spiritual beliefs. What would you do? The story in Letter from Masanjia is really about the strength of the human spirit. Sun Yi, the letter writer, and Julie Keith, the woman who received the letter, they too did not know each other. They came from very different backgrounds. But they had the same goal, which is to expose the atrocities in China, and through their efforts, they changed the course of history. So I hope you will come to see this inspiring story, and I hope you will find it moving, just like I did.
Of people here are under the persecution of the Chinese government party.
We start in China, where some big reforms have been announced.
It seems that they are going to, quote, abolish